Oh, don't discontinue my favorite. Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 fragrances that are either already discontinued or very well could be in the not too distant future. Now I'm going to preface everything I say with letting you know I do not have any super ultra secret insider information. I mean, maybe a couple things that you might find interesting that I'll let you know, but for the most part, just reading the tea leaves or paying attention. I know a lot of you find these type of videos really interesting, and a bunch of you really hate them. So let me be clear. My intention here is not to stir up a hornet's nest of hype or people freaking out, the sky is falling or anything like that. Just letting you guys know some things that I've observed over the past few months. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about some fragrances that might be going bye-bye. Now, before I pick up this first fragrance and talk to you guys about it, a few things that you can pay attention to see if something is maybe potentially going to be discontinued, and also some rules of thumb. First off, most fragrance brands, the vast majority of them, do not announce discontinuations. It's not really something that they want to put out there and really scream from the hilltops. They don't want to be like, hey everybody, this fragrance that I put tons of money and effort into bombed. It sucks. So I just want you all to know it failed miserably. We failed as a company and we're discontinuing it. Thank you. Companies don't like to do that, believe it or not. Yeah, it's weird. And another thing, just because a fragrance is still available at some retail stores or discounters does not mean that it has not been discontinued. Now, some really quick examples of that, and if you Google search, you can probably find some old forum threads from years ago about these. Gucci Pour Homme 2. We'll start with that one. That fragrance had been rumored as being discontinued for years, and it got to the point where people were like, yeah, that's going to be around forever. That's one of their best scents. No chance they discontinue it. This, my friends, is The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Turns out it had been discontinued though. They just had a buttload of back stock, and by the time they sold through all of that and then it sold out at discounters, it was gone. By the time that last bottle flipped off the internet at FragranceNet and headed off to whoever's house that bought it, that was it. It didn't come back, other than people ripping off other people on eBay. Or Van Cleef & Arpels Midnight in Paris. That was a community staple. It was one of the best cheapies you could get. The presentation was fantastic. You could get it for like $20, and you can still find old threads on forums of people saying there's no way that this is discontinued. Not a chance. It's Van Cleef & Arpels' #1 fragrance. Everybody talks about it. Everybody knows it. You can still easily find it online everywhere. It is not discontinued. This was around the time that people started to say, hey, it's discontinued, get it now if you want it. You had lots and lots of people just saying, nope, not possible. You can still find it easily. Eventually, it sold out, and guess what? The price skyrocketed to what it is now. So lastly, I will say, just because a fragrance is popular in the fragrance community does not mean that it's selling all that well in general. Fragrance companies, they look at sales from retail stores, people buying it at retail. They're not looking at FragranceNet and saying, hey, we're crushing it at discounters. Let's keep making these. So just keep all that in mind. That took a really long time. I'm sorry. So all that out of the way, first fragrance, Boss Bottled Intense. This is the Eau de Parfum. It's got apple, vanilla, cinnamon, and sandalwood, some of the notes in the fragrance. Takes that Boss Bottle DNA and ramps it up to 11. It's warm, it's spicy, it's sweet, it's got great staying power, good projection, and for a long time, this was a killer buy at discounters. You could pick it up in, I think, like the $30, $35 range, maybe touching close to 40. Still though, it was a great buy. And I think that it's a big improvement over the original Boss Bottled. A lot of people have hyped this over the years, and I think it's warranted. It is great for cool weather. Big compliment puller. Smells fantastic. Got that apple pie DNA from Boss Bottled that so many people love. And yet, that one is apparently already discontinued. It's becoming much harder to find. At discounters, the price is now up around $80, which not that long ago was unheard of. And that's one of the things that you can look at. You know, if prices start to go up at discounters and you're seeing it kind of drop off of retail stores, their websites, it's not a good sign. This one has been talked about a bit as being discontinued. You can go on to like Fragrantica and other places and see that lots of people are saying, hey, this is discontinued. If you want it, get it. And I think all signs point to that being true, unfortunately. And with Boss Bottled especially, you got to understand that with how many flankers they pump out in that line, that a lot of them are going to get canned sooner rather than later, because it's just the numbers game here. They don't want to have, 10, 11, 12 flankers out at the same time. So they're going to start axing some of those as they pump out new ones. Unfortunately, it seems like most of the ones that they're pumping out maybe aren't entirely worth it. Now, this next one I know is going to get a lot of talk, and I don't think it's discontinued right now. I don't, but it would not surprise me if in the not so distant future it is discontinued, and I'll tell you why. It's Acqua di Gio Profumo from Giorgio Armani. Now, some people, I think on Instagram, were saying that this is discontinued recently. I didn't see that. Apparently it made a big blow up. I didn't see any of it though. I just read about the aftermath. So this has sea notes, bergamot, incense, and patchouli as some of the notes in the fragrance. Now I know what you're thinking. Acqua di Gio Profumo, that's the #1 seller. How can they discontinue that? Well, it's actually not the #1 seller. That's the original still, believe it or not. Again, at retailers. So why would I think that this could be discontinued? Well, one thing, actually the first thing that made me start looking into this, is that a company reached out to me and asked me to do an Acqua di Gio buying guide, which I don't know if I'm going to do that with the company. I may just do it independently. That company was Giorgio Armani. Now, what they said was, if you need any of the fragrances for your video, just go to Macy's. Tell us which ones you need, Macy's.com. And I thought to myself, that's cool. I don't need any of them. Well, let me think about it. I didn't even go to Macy's. And then like a month later, that long, I did go ahead and go to Macy's, and I was looking through the fragrances. And one thing I noticed, and I thought, that's weird, I might be wrong, is that Acqua di Gio Profumo wasn't there. So I did a little search, looked around on the website. Not there. It's the only Acqua di Gio Macy's doesn't carry. If you don't believe me, you can go to Macy's.com right now, search Acqua di Gio, you will not find Profumo. So I thought that's weird. Then I went to the Giorgio Armani website, and Profumo completely sold out. The only Acqua di Gio sold out on their website. Now, since then, they have gotten in the, I think, 2.5 ounce bottle, but the other sizes are sold out again as of this video. So whenever you're watching it, it could be all sold out again, or all of them could be in stock. But I found some things a little bit strange on the website, and I'll show those to you here. One of those things that's a little bit strange is when you scroll to the bottom of the website on some of the Acqua di Gio listings, it will have other Acqua di Gio fragrances, and it will have a description and say shop here. So you can click it and it will take you to that other fragrance. The only problem is on the Profumo one, the link is broken. It takes you to a dead page. It's the only one that's broken. And also on the desktop version of the website, the picture of Acqua di Gio Profumo is kind of all stretched out and doesn't look correct. But again, that could be absolutely nothing. It could just be people screwing around on the website and they didn't fix what they screwed up on the back end. Or alternatively, it could be them getting ready to potentially exit. Now, all this said, it is still available at Sephora, Ulta, and Dillard's on their websites, but it's odd that when Armani reaches out and they say, we'd like to do an Acqua di Gio buying guide, check out this store, and then you see the one fragrance missing out of all of them. And I read through, what they were wanting me to cover as far as the Acqua di Gio fragrances, like cover this one, cover that one, cover this one. Profumo wasn't there. Profundo was there. Profundo Lights was there. The original was there. Not Profumo. So again, that could be nothing. But it's a little bit odd that the brand themselves don't really care for you to talk about one of their scents, which is not on the website that they're pointing you to. I'm just gonna leave it there because this video is running really long, but I think it's possible something's going on behind the scenes. I think either they're having trouble manufacturing enough of them right now for some reason, or alternatively, they could be getting ready to give it the old boot. And one part that's maybe a little tinfoil hat-ish or reading the tea leaves too much with this, the price of Acqua di Gio Profumo at discounters has gone up recently. Next up, Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Tobacco, tonka, clary sage, and oak moss, some of the notes in the fragrance, and this one I believe is already discontinued. Despite the appearance of the presentation here, which frankly is about as cheap as you were ever gonna see on a fragrance. I mean, look at this. It looks essentially like a little decant bottle with a sticker slapped on the front and the flimsiest little plastic cap you'll ever see. And then frankly, again, kind of a crappy atomizer in a way. It looks ultra cheap. It looks like something people would see and go, yeah, what is that? Like $4, $5 maybe? Get that from the Walmart clearance bin, you know? But no, it's actually a surprisingly fantastic tobacco fragrance. It's got an air of sophistication to it, an air of like regal sweetness to an extent. Regal sweetness. Slightly honeyed with a hay-like kind of warmth from the Tonka Tobacco Reserve. Really nice. And that one did get a fair amount of hype, but now it's been put out to pasture. So of the fragrances featured here today, that one and Boss Bottled Intense are the ones that I'm most certain about discontinuation. Next one up, Abercrombie & Fitch, First Instinct. And for all I know, this could actually be the entire First Instinct line. All First Instinct fragrances for men have been removed completely from Abercrombie & Fitch's website. That's never a good sign. And also, if you Google Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct, at least as of this video, it will pull up a link to Abercrombie & Fitch's website where it will say, you know, First Instinct for men, and have the little description, blah, 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 blah. And then when you click the link, it takes you to Abercrombie & Fitch's website to a dead page, which lets you know, yeah, they went in and they scrubbed all of that off there. This one has melon, gin, musk, and suede as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's actually surprisingly really good. You might not think all that highly of mall fragrances like Abercrombie & Fitch or Hollister or Banana Republic scents. It's actually really nice. But it would appear that Abercrombie & Fitch is kind of leaning into the fierce line. Because if you go to Abercrombie & Fitch's website now and look at the men's fragrances, it's like 10 different flankers of fierce. It's just everywhere. Fierce, 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 fierce. And it's kind of strange because they came out with the most recent flanker to First Instinct not very long ago. But it would appear they just said, yeah, screw it. I give up. No First Instinct. And there have been some people saying that they've been having more trouble finding these in stores as well. So, I mean, if it's not online at Abercrombie & Fitch's website, if people are having trouble finding it in stores, you can probably tell what's happened. Last up, 2 fragrances from the same house. So technically 6 on the video. Yeah, I cheated again. They are both from Tom Ford. This one is Flare de Portofino. This one is Mandarino di Amalfi. So Flare de Portofino is on Lucky Scent's discontinuation page. They have a page that has recently discontinued fragrances that they carry, that they still carry until they sell out, basically. And this is one of them. And then Mandarino di Amalfi, there have been a lot of rumblings on the internet that this is going the way of Costa Azzurra, which would mean discontinuation because they discontinued Costa Azzurra. Then they brought it back as part of the signature line. So they could potentially do that here as well. Both of these, obviously, you can tell by the coloration of the bottle, even if you're not familiar with the scents, are for summertime use. Spring, summer, maybe early fall when it's hot outside, especially during the day. They're great casual scents and office friendly as well. And I believe with Mandarino di Amalfi that they are also hypothesizing that Mandarino di Amalfi Aqua would be discontinued as well. Really unfortunate. I've had both of those for quite a long time. Really like both of them. Just like I said before, easy, safe fragrances. Both of them make use of white florals. Flare de Portofino has a bit of a honeyed edge to it, a little bit of sweetness, whereas Mandarino di Amalfi is going to give you citrus and mint. Well, Flare de Portofino has citrus too, just Mandarino di Amalfi has more. So there we go. Really, really, really long video just to talk about 6 fragrances. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not doing this video to try to, make people freak out and think the sky is falling and the world is ending and all this stuff. Discontinuations, they happen. And when something is discontinued, it doesn't mean it's going to immediately vanish out of existence and become impossible to find. But if something is discontinued and everything sells out, we're talking discounters and retailers, then at that point, it's going to be a little harder to get your hands on it. So just keep that, I guess, in the back of your mind if you've wanted any of these and you think that it warrants a purchase, but don't freak out. I was in the fragrance community a long time before I started the channel, lurking in the darkness. So I've seen many discontinuations, come and go. It sucks, but it's just part of the game. So with that, I'm gonna wrap the video up. Thanks for hanging with me today. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. See you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.